What's good, Panther Nation? It's your boy Myron McRae, a.k.a. Tornado McRae, across the skyways of the internet, here with another episode of Panther Pride TV. Your one-stop shop for all your Panther notifications and your Panther obligations. And happy Wednesday to all of y'all. Hope y'all are having a great day. Hope everything's going smooth for you, man. And guys, let's go ahead and get into today's doc. A few things I do want to talk about. And the first thing I do want to talk about is we got to check the numbers ahead of the Bills game because this is a big game coming up this weekend. Carolina has a big task in front of them. You know it. I know it. The porcupine that's been sitting over in the corner knows it. However, he doesn't want to tell me anything, and I really believe he's in cahoots with Perry the platypus because there's a platypus over here that is not wearing a hat, but he's just been standing there doing nothing. But anywho, we'll keep an eye on him. Let's get into the numbers, and when I check it, bro, offensively and defensively, here's what we're looking at. We know what our team does. They put up 20.7 points per game. When it comes to the passing yards, we're 186.6. We're in the bottom third of the NFL in passing yards, which sucks. But what are you going to do? Because our strength is our rushing attack, which is actually third, sitting at 140.1 rush yards per game. And we are actually not that far off. We're like upper middle of the road in terms of total yards per game. We're at 326.7 total yards per game. Defensively, one of the better defenses. Actually, in terms of points per game, we are the number 7. No, total yards per game. In total yards per game, we are the 7th ranked defense in the NFL, which I thought was awesome. Our defense gives up 21.7 points per game. Passing yards, we actually shrunk the average and went 203.1, but we did play the Jets, so take that for what it is. Rush yards, we are sitting at 92.6 rush yards given up per game. Our rushing defense is back on track, and one of the best things about our defense. And like I said, 295.7 yards total per game. And on the flip side, you have the Buffalo Bills, who, they have the reigning MVP. They have a formidable offense. They've been in the playoffs, I think, last 5-6 years straight. So you know what they come with. 27.8 points per game. Their passing yards, 227.3 yards per game. And I'm going to put this in perspective. And I looked at this. They're at 227.3 with Josh Allen. We're at 186.6 with Bryce and Andy Dalton. Well, Bryce this year. That's only a 40, 50-yard difference. I mean, if you want to look at the glass half full, it's not as bad as you can make it not look as bad as it is. I understand it is obviously bad because in the grand scheme of things, they have one of the top ranked passing defenses while we're in the bottom third. So yes, overall it's bad because 50 yards makes a huge gap. But sometimes when you look at the glass half full, you try to make things not seem as bad as they are. But I digress. Still, 227.3 pass yards. They actually have the number 1 rushing offense at 151 yards per game. So our rushing defense is going to get tried. They are going to get attacked. We got to be ready. And then at 378.3 total yards per game as an offense. Defensively, they are not as strong as you would think. Giving up 22.8 points per game. They're actually giving up 167.2 pass yards per game. And so their strength is actually their pass coverage, but their rushing defense is giving up 156.3 yards per game. So we should eat going against their rushing attack. And then they're giving up a total of 323.5 total yards per game. So actually about 25, 30 more yards than what we give up on the defense. So overall, when you look at that, defensively, basically, these are the matchups. Our rushing attack versus their rushing defense, their passing attack versus our pass defense. Those are really the caveats that can lead here because can our rushing attack go off the way it should against their rush defense? Can our pass coverage hold water against their pass defense? And I mean, they have a great rushing defense too, but I'm betting on our rush defense. So I'm more so thinking they're going to rely heavily on trying to attack our weakness, which is our pass coverage. Let's be honest and be for real about it. That's the weakness in our defense. And you have the reigning MVP coming off a bye week. You're going to attack that weakness. And speaking of that, here are some other numbers to really think about. So Carolina versus Buffalo all time. We're actually 2-6 versus Buffalo. Buffalo is also 8-0 after the bye week since 2017. Josh Allen himself is 7-0 after the bye week as a starter. But Carolina is 3-0 at home this season, and this will be the first regular season meeting since 2021. So I know it looks bleak. It looks bad. It looks like everything's against us. It's the reigning MVP. It's the Buffalo Bills. They're coming off a bye week. They're getting Dalton Kincaid. They are poised to be the team to beat us. They are poised to be the team to end the home streak. They should win this game on paper. However, I'm just going to say this because a lot of people said this for us against the Jets last week. I think this is a trap game for the Buffalo Bills. You're coming off a bye. You're healthy. Reigning MVP going up against a team that is, for all intents and purposes, can be suspect in terms of pass coverages. I love my Panthers, but let's be honest. Our pass coverage sometimes is, yeah. You're supposed to win this game. But add the fact that you just lost to Atlanta before your bye week, and Atlanta has a way better offensive defense statistically right now. You should not lose this game to Carolina if you're the Buffalo Bills. Hence why this is the trap game, because it's like if you lose this game because you thought you have everything lined up in your favor, hey, and you overlook Carolina, boom, you fell in the trap. Now Carolina beats you. Because the thing about it is there are going to be Buffalo fans who are going to overlook us. Be like, oh, it's the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, they did their little streak, but it's still the Carolina Panthers. That's the trap. That's the issue. They don't think that this Carolina Panthers team has a shot. However, with the weaknesses of this Buffalo defense, with the strength of our rushing attack, all we got to do is be in striking distance, and we have a shot. And plus, one thing I was talking about with my homeboy yesterday, and I know I've seen a lot of people have the comments and the discussions of Andy Dalton, he's washed, we have no shot, so on and so forth. Listen, Andy Dalton ain't the worst backup you could have coming out here, man. We could have Jake Browning. Like, we really could have Jake Browning out here. I don't even... Like, I'm just thinking about that. Like, Andy Dalton's not the worst individual we could have as a backup going into this. And I'm sorry, Jake Brown. I just had to air you out because you are sitting there. We could have Russell Wilson sitting as our backup right now. And he could be the one giving us the start. So, Carolina faithful, I understand why you may not be like super hype on Andy, but trust me, we could have a lot worse. So I don't think too much about it. I'm not thinking bad about Andy. Then, guys, next do gotta want to talk about this is the latest depth chart's been announced for week 8, and there have been a few things on this depth chart that I actually like. I kind of like what I saw. So on the depth chart, let me pull it up for you here. So 3 moves that were announced off the depth chart that I loved. Austin Corbett is now the backup to Damian Lewis, who is expected to return this week. Nick Samick is now the backup to Cade Mays. And then Jalen Coker is now ahead of Hunter Renfrow at the wide receiver position. So, I'm going to say this. 1, thank you for putting Damian Lewis ahead of Austin Corbett and then not putting Corbett as the starter for the line. Like, Canales, hey. Thank you. Now, Damian Lewis, please don't get hurt. Please don't get hurt again. Please. I'm begging you. Nick Samick, I'm happy to see that he is now the backup center. I do not want Austin Corbett at center anymore. And then Jalen Coker ahead of Hunter Renfrow makes sense. However, I will also say this. I would love it if Hunter Renfrow is still active on game days because he still adds a level of versatility and experience at the receiver position that you can really flex and move. Now, I'm not saying Hunter needs to get the same reps or needs to be getting a lot of reps, but I love having Hunter Renfrow available on game days because of that. And I have to look back to see how close they are in terms of like active players on game days and things like that. But I would love to see Hunter always active on game day. Like if it was up to me at the receiving core, obviously you got T-Mac, Xavier, Jimmy Horn, Jalen Coker, and then after that, oh yeah, Bryson Tremaine. They don't want to forget him. And I'd like to see Hunter Renfrow still there too. Still keep Tommy, still keep JT, still keep Mitchell Evans, who's been great too, and to me, I just like having a lot of receivers available in the event of injuries happening. That's just my personal forte, and that's how I've always been. That's just me. And lastly, guys, want to get into it. Time for the Panthers Pride Fantasy League updates because I know some of y'all love to look at this, especially those who are actually in the league who like seeing these updates and things like that. And we are going to look at the way the league is set up right now. So after this past week, week 7, I came so close to being 3-4 and really, I'm still there. I can still make the playoffs and still make some moves. So don't count me out yet. Don't count me out yet. But at the top in terms of records, at the top you have Skinny with 2 tats at 5-2, followed by the Bryce is Right at 5-2. Down since 95 is also 5-2, and Levar Marcus 5-2. The 4-3 crowd consists of T-Mac Tutties and your damn Skippy. The 3-4 crowd consists of Horn Hub, Go Getters, Renfrow Re-Up, and Better Call Hall. I am still sitting down at the bottom at 11 at 2-5. That sucks. Shouldn't be. And then S2 is still winless at 0-7. Oof. That hurts, man. That hurts. I feel bad for him. And then when we look at the power rankings according to the ESPN app, so the bottom 6 have not changed. S2 still 12. I'm still 11. Better Call Hall still at 10. Renfrow Re-Up stayed at 9. Go Getters is stayed at 8. And then Horn Hub stayed at 7. Top 6 shifted around. Your damn Skippy fell from 5 to 6. T-Mac Tutties fell from 4 to 5. Down since 95 actually fell from 3 to 4. Bryce is Right actually moved up from 6 to 3. Levar Mark fell from 1 to 2. And then Skinny with 2 tats went up from 2 to 1. So that is your Panther Pride Fantasy League update. And now it's time for the Panther Pride Freeze Frame of the Day. And this was actually post-game of Coach Canales after the game. And listen, when that man's smiling like that, him and Bryce, when they're having smiles like that, that means good things are happening. And that's just a positive thing. And I think this is that smile where he's like, we're finally above 500. We're finally turning the corner and hitting our stride. And he deserves a smile like that, man. So happy for him. Happy for everybody. And then now it is time for Panther Nation. Oh, hold up. Wait a minute. What was that? All right. Am I stuff working again? There we go. Haha. It was use the ESPN notification for my other podcast. So if you want to check that out, it is the UNC North Carolina Tar Heels live podcast presented by the Voice of College Football. Me and my best friend Joel, Ricebox 26. We do that every Tuesday at 9. If you're curious, if you want to watch us be goofy. We just did an episode last night. So I used that last night. But let's go ahead and get into today's comments. And first one comes from CCSM. This was actually the most liked comment under the video. Said, if Dave increases Rico's touches a bit, defense shows up and play calling is flawless, we have a chance. If Atlanta can do this, so can we. But the Bills team is rested and pissy. Hey, I agree 100%. And I told y'all that right after the game. I said, listen, this Bills team's coming off a bye, and they lost to Atlanta. They are going to be pissed and ticked off and not want to lose this game. But Atlanta did show us they can be beaten. We have the ingredients to beat them. And if we do what we need to do, we can beat the Bills. So I 100% agree with you, my man. Don't even worry about it. Next comment comes from BK Sports Blitz. Says, what software do you use for your video podcast? So actually, I use OBS Studios for these videos. I use OBS Studios actually for all my videos, not only on this channel, but my personal channel. And I'll record, do my thing. It's a great setup. Pretty easy interface to get accustomed to. I used to do Streamlabs, but OBS Studios gives you a little bit more in-depth customization and how to flow things. Streamlabs is more, if you're just beginning, I highly suggest Streamlabs if you're just beginning and don't know how to do stuff. But if you want a little bit more customization and how to set things up, OBS Studios, it's free. Both of them are actually free. Get in there and you can do so much. So highly recommend that. If you're trying to get into the YouTube and things of that nature, Streamlabs or OBS Studios are a great way to start. And then lastly, last comment comes from DP12277. My man says the game plan should be a lot of play action downfield passes to get points, chunk yards on obvious running downs. Once that loosens up the defense, then you can control the clock and break the Bills' will. Also, keep an eye on Shakir on third downs. Rush Allen with gap discipline and force him to beat you playing hero ball with his arm. Everyone should be rallying to the ball on the defense this week. The receivers need to be active blockers in the run game. This will also free them up in play action. Hey. Great in-depth analysis. Everything he said, like, that makes sense. That logically makes sense, and I can see how he gets there. And secure on third down is my biggest thing out of there, because that man on third down, especially him and Kincaid, I think need to be watched a lot. But I agree there. But guys, that's all I have for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can always be notified of when these videos are dropping. If you want to see more of my own personal videos, please follow me at Tornado McRae on YouTube. I have Carolina Panthers stuff over there, but also other videos that I have I have 100% creative freedom and control. So if y'all want to see like videos, edits, or how I really try to edit and do videos, go check those out. But comment below and let me know, y'all. Do you trust the numbers heading into this game for us or against us? How do you feel about the depth chart changes, especially Corbett now being a backup at left guard too? And then Fantasy League, things are starting to heat up. We're after week 7. What do y'all think is going to happen? How do you think things are going to play out? And let me know everything else in the comment section below, because at the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a skinny brother with 2 tats. Peace. Mother all you Panthers Nation. Take care. Later days. And as always, keep pounding. I'll see y'all next time.